It's like my life just took the weirdest little turn. It's hard to even talk about it because as soon as I start talking, it's like my mind just explodes like 100 different directions. Like, where do I even begin? What do I even start to talk about? Try to bring it back to the beginning. So this like seed was planted when I was living in Northwest Australia. It was like the hottest place I've ever lived, Northern Australia. I was there for wet season. It was really humid. I was getting all these health problems, and eventually I got a staph infection and I had to take a week off work. And I remember people were like, oh yeah, it's the tropics, like staph bacteria just does really well here. But I remember thinking like, no, like I think there's something more. Like, I'm getting all these rashes, I'm getting like weird stuff happening, all of it's happening on the right side of my body, it's one thing after another, until eventually a full-blown staph infection and I'm like in bed for a week. While I was on that week off, I remember doing a bit of digging because I wanted to try to understand like something's happening. There's something about health that I'm not understanding because I'm so healthy, I'm doing everything, like I eat well, I exercise, whatever, but like why am I getting all these health problems and other people seem to be doing a lot better? Like there's something I'm not understanding. There's something about health. There's some part of this picture I'm not understanding. And you know, I guess this starts it. This is like, what am I gonna do to understand this better? Like I've realized there's something I don't understand, I wanna understand. And like, what does this even look like? How do I even start this? And then I just started like drifting in my head. Like, you know, I like a few people have told me they went to Nepal and they had really crazy experiences, like transformative, and like something's just drawing me to Nepal. And I know yoga is like can be really healing. I don't know so much about it. I don't really understand it. I just watch YouTube videos and I do it as like exercise, but like I know there's something there. And like, okay, so Nepal, so maybe I do like a yoga course, learn how to teach yoga. So if I can teach it, then I understand it. So like do a yoga teacher course, and everything just kind of started taking off. And as soon as it started taking off, it's like, it was unbelievable how right it all felt. Like weird, like I've never really felt something like this before. Like I felt really strong pulls from the world to go to certain places, do certain things, whatever, you know, strong intuition. But this was something different. This was something that was like, it felt so much more powerful. Like it's not negotiable. This is something that has to happen. It has to be Nepal. It has to be this yoga course. I found a yoga course and something about it just like hit me in a way. It's like, it has to be this one. And so that was it. I took off. My 30th birthday, this is so funny. The day before I got on my flight out of Australia and I flew to Bangkok. And that night I had an overnight layover in Bangkok. So I actually had my 30th birthday in Bangkok. And then the next day I woke up, and on my birthday I flew to Kathmandu. I landed in Kathmandu and walked around the city that evening to celebrate like just 30 laps around the sun. This is the beginning of a new chapter. This is the start of something big, you know. I could really feel this. And it's so funny to look back at all this now, and like I had no idea what I was getting into, but like, or the universe has like a hilarious like sense of humor. Like so for the first like maybe 10 days I was in Nepal, I think. I was just traveling, just doing like the typical foreigner traveler kind of things, like, oh, let's see Nepal. And it was like, oh, go to Pokhara, go to like Lumbini, go to these places on the map. And that's pretty much what I was doing. But one of the things that stuck out to me instantly in Nepal, it's really difficult to explain because I've been to so many places in the world where the culture is different, the way that people interact is different, and it's really beautiful. But there's something like so special about the way that people interact in Nepal and just the way that people live. And it was like, I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but within like 1 week I had friends in Nepal that I actually felt like it mattered more to me to see them than to see more of Nepal. And that was weird for me. Like, you know, I've traveled for years, I've met so many people, connected with so many people, but like it's part of traveling. You connect with people and then you have to keep moving. That's why you keep traveling. That's how it keeps going. But this was like, I felt like I didn't even really care. Like at one point I was supposed to go to like Chitwan, this like kind of jungle area in Nepal, right before I was supposed to go back and start this yoga training. And I canceled it. I decided not to do it because it mattered more to me to go back to a city where I'd already been, to see people that I'd already met, to spend one more night with them, because the connection was that important to me. And it's just, that's really powerful. Like I connect with everybody all the time. I love connection, but like I'm not usually one to do things like this. So this was something to notice in myself. Either there's something changing internally or there's something different externally. Like this is just like different than anywhere else I've ever been. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of both, but there was something about the interactions. There was something about meeting people and the connections. There was something that was like supercharged about the connections that I was having in Nepal. And like everybody I was meeting, everybody I was talking to, it was charged. There was just something more powerful in all of these connections. It's really difficult to explain. And then, so, you know, the thing that brought me to Nepal, finally the time came to go to this like yoga studio. And, you know, this was weird. Like this journey also, I can remember going up to the yoga place, like leading up to it. For like the 2 weeks when I was traveling around Nepal, I got this like sore on my skin, on my neck, and it looked like a bug bite or something. But then it started spreading, it started getting worse, and I recognized it. I was like, that's staph. Like I just got over this in Australia. I know what this is. That's staph, the way it was spreading. And it was like, I kept trying, oh, it'll go away, like my life is different now. It was hot in Australia, it was the tropics, this is different. But no, it didn't go away, it kept getting worse. And then the morning of the yoga course, I woke up in my hotel before I went to the yoga place, and it was like, I was sick, I was having diarrhea, I was having body pain from like, I don't even know what this body pain was coming from. Like it hurt to breathe, like it was weird. And so I went to the hospital because like, okay, something really big is happening. I don't know what's happening. Like maybe the staph got into my blood, like it's spreading. I don't know what's happening. So I went to the hospital, spent all morning in the hospital. They took all these different samples, blood tests, everything. And they gave me like a bag full of medication. And this is one of the craziest things. What brought me to Nepal was on this path of healing because I was having this staph infection. And then the day that I'm supposed to be going to this yoga course, my staph infection gets so bad. Like first it flares up again when I get to Nepal, and then it gets so bad that I have to go to the hospital the day that I'm supposed to be starting this training. Like this is just weird the way things are lining up. And so before taking any of the medication, I talked to the yoga teacher, and he was like, we're doing a cleanse, maybe like, we both agreed, let's try the cleanse and see what that does, and then we'll see if I need the medication. And the cleanse stopped, it changed it. Like, I still had the staph, but it was changed. It wasn't spreading, it wasn't growing like it used to. And then like a week later, it was still there, but it wasn't getting any worse. So then we started there was like a plant that, I guess this is like plant medicine. This plant grows everywhere. Once I like saw it and recognized it, I was able to see it everywhere. This plant grows everywhere, all around Kathmandu. Anyways, you'd find this plant everywhere. And I'm sure a lot of Nepal you'd find it. And it's a natural antiseptic. So we would take it, we would grind up the leaves, mix it with water, and just put it over top of the sores. And seriously, I think it took like 1 or 2 weeks and the staph went away, completely went away. It's never come back. And this is the craziest thing, because the morning that I went to the hospital, they brought me to another hospital, like specifically a skin doctor. And I remember talking to this doctor, a dermatologist, whatever. And she was saying, like, you need medication. This isn't going to go away on its own. It's going to be reoccurring because your immune system is weak. You have low immunity right now. And I just remember thinking, like, how do I have low immunity? And like, how does this make any sense? Like, it's reoccurring. Like, this is just like, this can't be it. Like, it can't just be, I'm gonna have staph infections for the rest of my life. And then I went to this yoga place. I did a cleanse. I started living in this like yoga lifestyle. and I'd use some plant medicine, and it went away on its own, and it's never come back. I'm here like 2-3 months later, and it's never come back. It's just stayed away. This is crazy. Even like I can remember through this process when I was doing these treatments, and I'd get little bumps of staph, and they wouldn't flare up, they wouldn't open, they wouldn't turn into a sore, they would just go away. Like my body was taking care of it. And this is just so like, this is so amazing, because you know, I can't do an entire like everything I learned in a yoga class in like a 20-minute like video, but like there is so much knowledge in this lifestyle and this practice. Like the yoga that I took was Tantra yoga. So it's funny, Tantra has been like misinterpreted to be like a sexual thing in the West a lot of the time. People hear Tantra, they think sex, but it's not, it has nothing to do with sex. Tantra means system in Sanskrit. So we were learning about the systems of yoga. So one is the movement, like the stretching, the asanas, the, like, you know, when you do a yoga class and you do all the stretches, like that whole hatha yoga, like for the body. And then there's other kinds of yoga, like that are more involved with like lifestyle, with mindset, with like just the way that you live your life, the things that you do. And we learned about all this stuff. Like the movement was a very small part of what we learned, because we learned about like everything, the entire system of yoga all together. And I don't know how much more I can even get into this. Like if you want to know more, message me, ask me. But like there's so much knowledge in this lifestyle. The more I uncover, the more that I find it's like, this is gold. This is like, it is like taking your health into your own hands. And it's like modifying your lifestyle to actually be balanced to the point where you're not falling into illness. I threw away my medication. I didn't even end up using my medication. I threw it all out before I came to Canada. Like, there's really something there. There's something deep in all of this. There's something like, you know, yoga is what, like thousands of years old, this practice. Like there's really some knowledge there. There's really something deep there. But we'll keep things moving. So, you know, the yoga course, it did not stop there, this whole journey in Nepal. Towards the end of the yoga course, like I think I had like 3 days left or something like that. I remember one morning coming out of my room, and there was this dog, a puppy. There was puppies that were born like just before I got there, and they were with us the entire time. We were seeing them every day. And then this one morning I came out, and one of them was standing off to the side while the rest were like drinking their mom's milk. And so I went over to this puppy, and it looked like it hurt its foot. It looked like it was holding its foot up. And then I got down and I realized there was no foot. Its leg had been ripped off. I could see like its bone hanging out of its leg, and I could see like its... I'm never gonna forget that image. And I just remember picking her up, trying to hold her so she didn't have to stand on 3 legs, and trying to like, something just switched in my head. Like I knocked on the door to get the other guy up, the other yoga student. It was only 2 of us. And I remember being like, go into my room, get a blanket, you need to bring this blanket, we need to wrap her up, like we need to call a vet, like look up on your phone, I don't have Wi-Fi, so you need to look up, like look up vet clinics, call a vet clinic, make sure they're open, make sure they can do surgery, go find like Amrit, like the yoga instructor, because he can talk to these like people in Nepali. And then I was on a motorbike, on the back of Amrit's motorbike, going into a clinic and getting her an amputation on her leg. And that just started everything. From that day, this was like my child. Like she was with me, this puppy was with me 24/7. I couldn't let her out of my sight. She could reach her bandage, even with the cone on her head, she could still reach her bandaged foot, and she could rip the stitches. So I had to watch her all the time. Every day we had to take her back for more antibiotic injections. Like it was just, I remember it being so exhausting. I can remember crying sometimes. I can remember one time being on a bus with this dog in Kathmandu going around the city, and she had diarrhea all over me, all over my shirt, like explosive, on this bus. Everybody's staring at me because like I'm some weird foreigner with a puppy like on a bus that's just like pooped all over me. And like I'm using my shirt to like, because it's already covered in poop, and I'm using it to clean poop like even more. This was insane. This was like, and you know, all this is happening. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I getting into? I have to watch this dog. Like, and you know, this is like, I could make a movie about everything that happened with me and this dog, like the journey that we went on. But to keep it brief, just to explain this, I ended up meeting like all the right people, getting all the right support. And so there was a woman that just saw me walking around the streets with this dog, and she started talking to me. She had a friend from Canada that had an organization. This is like, just dropping this in here, Temple Dogs, that's the organization. This woman has an organization that helps get dogs adopted overseas. So dogs from Nepal or other places in Asia, they can be adopted overseas by people in like Canada or other places. So Temple Dogs Foundation, something like this, like Temple Dogs. Look it up. If you're ever in any kind of situation similar to this, or you want to save a life and adopt like a stray dog, like look it up, Temple Dogs. So this woman put me in touch with this other woman. She's like, my friend has an organization. We're going to help you. We're going to get this dog to Canada. I'm like, I can't even believe that this is happening. I can't believe this is my life, but I guess this is my life. And like part of the yoga course was doing trekking. So I went to go do trekking. I was in this village for like this wedding. Her stitches ripped open. There was no clinic. So that was like insane. And then having to get like a 8-hour Jeep ride back to the city the next morning, but there was like 10 of us in like an 8-seater Jeep, and like somebody was having a meltdown at one point and screaming and kicking and trying to jump out the window, and like I don't know what happened. I still don't know what that was all about. But like this was just, everything went crazy. And then finally getting back to Kathmandu, and yeah, so I had one friend help me to find a hotel where I could stay with the dog. Like he worked at this hotel, he knew these people, he talked to them. He's like, okay, like my friend has a dog, just don't say anything, let him stay here. And they're like, okay, yeah, he can stay. So I had somebody help me with accommodation. I had these women helping me with like all the paperwork, all the vaccines, everything I had to get done. They were telling me, go to this vet clinic, get it all organized. My friend that was helping me with the hotel, he was also helping me with the puppy because he's just a beautiful soul, loves puppies. And he went with me to the vet one night, and he's like, this vet isn't a good vet, the stitches keep ripping, we need to find another vet. And he was so right. We went to another vet, and like instantly everything turned around. The healing process went like 200 times faster. Like we started using honey to heal it. Like everything changed. We stopped using antibiotics. Like it's crazy. I met like all the right people to make all the right things happen. It's like the entire universe was coming together to make this journey happen. And you know, it's just like it does my head in like the weirdest trip to think about all of this, like the way that everything changed. Like before I met this dog, before I did this yoga course, before any of this, I was supposed to be, once I left Nepal, going back to Canada, going to northern Canada, back to the Yukon, and like, you know, it was a loose plan, but everything was planned. I had a job, I potentially had a car, I had places to live, everything was lined up. And then everything happened with this dog, and then I got some news about another friend in Canada that I wanted to visit, and kind of like everything just fell apart all at the same time. Like none of that works anymore. What am I gonna do now? And I just remember it was like, okay, I have to cancel my flight, because if not, I'm leaving this dog in the streets with an open wound on her leg, stitches healing. Like she's gonna die if I don't change my flights. So change my flights, change the plan, change everything. And then in this next bit of time, the little extension that I gave myself, like to stay in Nepal and get all of this sorted, you know, it's like, this is, how does the world get like any trippier? How does the universe get any more like wild and unpredictable? And of course, like the way the world goes, the way all these things happen, I found myself making this connection. This is like, I don't even know what to make of this. Like, I just met this person and we just started connecting. And it's funny because I can remember kind of thinking like, you know, I don't have any time for myself. How can I be like talking to somebody else? And then something was like, no, but like I have to get lunch. I have to get food. Just like go get food with this person. Like just go see what happens. And what happened was the most powerful connection. And I mean, obviously like it took a little bit of time to unfold, but like, you know, now it's like everything has changed. In like a few months, I'm going to India because this person that I'm connected to, it's so beautiful. And like, they're living in Nepal, but like originally from India, and there's a festival in India, and it's like, oh, come back to India in October, and let's go to this festival in my village, and like, it's like, it's unbelievable, and it's, I have no words for how I feel. I feel so alive. I feel so like, before it was like, oh, like, you know, open up my own business and like keep doing cooking, and like that kind of made sense. That was a direction. Now it's like, I'm flying to India, I'm learning Hindi, and I'm becoming an English teacher, and like, what? Like, what? It's like, and then, what? You know, it's just like, I know that this was how it was meant to happen. Like, I flash back to like this feeling I had that it had to be Nepal, it had to be that yoga course. And then when I found Santi, when I found this dog, and like, I remember everybody asking, what are you gonna do? And like, you're gonna take her to a shelter, and like, you have to go to Canada. And it was this, but like, I have to take care of her. It wasn't like a question, it wasn't a choice, it wasn't an option. It was like, no, like, she's gonna die. If I don't take care of her, there's nobody else that can take care of her. Like, either I take care of her or she dies. So it's not really a choice, it's not really a decision, it's something that I just have to do it. Like, the universe has put this here in front of me as like, this is my service, this is my job, this is my like obligate, like I have to do this. And then just the way that like everything has unfolded since then, like meeting that dog was one of the best things that ever could have happened to me. All of these connections I made, some of the best things that could have happened to me. Going to Nepal, one of the best things that ever could have happened to me. All of this together. And all of it came from a staph infection. None of it was like really planned. None of it was really like, you know, it just kind of happened. So I guess like, wow, what a crazy world we live in. And I'm so grateful. Just so much gratitude, you know. I guess one of the best ways I can explain this is there was a concept. I don't remember who I was talking about this with. Probably so many times with so many people. But there's this concept about surrendering to the universe, whatever you want to call it. If you're religious, you know, you can call it whatever God you want. If you're like spiritual but not religious, you can whatever. But like the way I like to just call it, like the universe. So like kind of this idea that we really don't control much of our lives. Most of our lives are out of our control. We actually control the smallest amount of our lives, and that's terrifying. That's really like unnerving to, you know, to realize that you have no control over your own life or the things that happen to you or the people that you love. You have no control over it. That's terrifying. That's scary. So a lot of the times we don't want to admit that, we don't want to believe it, we don't want to see it, and we try instead to control everything. And this causes a lot of suffering in our minds, and this causes a lot of trouble for us. The more we try to control. And so there's Stoicism, which is like the philosophy of, you know, only focus on controlling what you can. So, you know, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to what happens to you. But there's another more like colorful way of saying this, and basically the same message is just surrender yourself to the universe. The universe, you know, you are a very small part of this universe. You are the same thing as the rest of the universe. You all come from the same source. You know, your body's made out of stardust. You come from the earth that like is Mother Earth. You know, what you eat becomes your body. Literally, like you are the universe. Like that's very literal. And, you know, the thing is, the universe is so much bigger than us. We have no control over our lives. So why are we trying to fight? Why are we trying to control? Really, the best thing to do is just surrender to the universe. Surrender yourself to this bigger plan, this bigger happening, this bigger existence that you are only a piece of. And this message, you know, this comes up in different philosophies, different religions, different mindsets, different practices. It comes up in meditation, it comes up in, you know, everywhere, all the time. This idea of letting go, of surrendering, of not trying to control. And, you know, it's, for me, I feel like that's what this was like. A punch in the face from the universe, being like, stop trying to control your life, you know? Like, it's every single thing just happened like not how it was planned, like out of my control. I couldn't control like any of this stuff that was happening to me. But then, you know, now that it's all unfolded, I'm just beaming. I'm sitting here like grateful beyond words, like happier than I've ever been in my life, and so excited about the future, like more excited about the future than I've ever been in my life. You know, I think about what's coming on the horizon, and it's just wow. You know, we really live in such a crazy world. Like, so it's just the craziest thing when I go to start explaining Nepal and this journey, this experience, because what do I even explain? Where do I even start? So many things happen. I feel like a different person after being, before I went to Nepal and after leaving Nepal, I feel like I'm a different person. Like it's changed me in ways that I can't even explain, you know? So I can remember before I went to Nepal, almost everybody that I was meeting that had been there, and they would talk about their experiences, and everybody had the best things to say about, like, almost everybody was, oh, it's one of my favorite countries I've ever been to. Like, it's just amazing. The word people kept using was magical. People kept saying it's a magical place where magical things happen. And you're like in the Himalayas, and it's just this different world. And I didn't remember, oh, magical. Like, I think I understand what they mean, but now it's like I see it with like a different set of like eyes. Like, you know, this place really is magical. And you can put it up to whatever you want. Some people like to say it's like the mountains, we're the biggest mountains in the world, there's this energy, it's magical. Some people think of it as like cultural, some people think of it as spiritual, because there's a lot of spirituality in Nepal. And really, like, I don't know, wherever it comes from, but I can agree with every experience that I had, every day, every moment in this country. Everybody that I met, every interaction, every connection that I still have, the people that I think of as like family now, the places that I became so familiar with, the neighborhoods I started living in apartments and renting, and like I was living there. People in the neighborhood knew me. Obviously, this like foreigner with a dog with 3 legs walking around, like everybody knew me, and like these moments, these interactions, these connections. The way that this trip, the way that 3 months changed me. I mean, I've traveled a lot, I've experienced this a lot, where you go somewhere so different and it changes you. I think anyone who's traveled somewhere so foreign can relate to that. It changes you, changes the way you see the world. But like, it's funny, actually, I really got used to that, like the culture shock, like the change. I've traveled a lot in my life, and I started to get really used to that change. And when I thought it was like I'd experienced it, I knew it, and then this is just it, like the depth of everything that happened in Nepal. It's magical. I find myself like saying it just like everybody else said it to me, and I thought I understood, but like you'll never really understand until you feel it for yourself. But I mean, I just, with every moment, every memory, every connection, it's magic. This place is magical.